One of the things that you may want to consider doing is putting smoke on your Apprentice, and there's a couple different ways you could do that. I'm going to kind of examine the different ways and compare those for you. I've got a couple different options here in terms of those things. Okay, so I'll just put these out for you. Okay, so one of the things you may have seen around, well, first of all, let me mention that there's really two ways smoke can get produced. One is pyrotechnically, which is you're burning some type of element, and the burning process itself is producing the smoke. And then the other way is you can atomize something. And when you look at planes in an air show, what they're doing is they're spraying an oil onto, they're spraying an oil into the exhaust of the airplane, and the hot exhaust is actually atomizing it. And the reason why you want to have an atomized smoke as opposed to a pyrotechnic smoke is an atomized smoke is going to hang in the air a lot more. Essentially what you're doing is you've got thousands of tiny, billions of tiny oil droplets that are hanging in the air. It's the same reason why a contrail in a jet will hang at altitude for a long time. Obviously what a contrail is it's water being condensed out of the atmosphere, and that's what you're seeing in the sky. And so anytime you can produce an atomized smoke as opposed to a pyrotechnic smoke, you're going to have better hang times. On the flip side, maybe the case, I'll find out whether pyrotechnic smoke is actually going to give you more volume for the same weight. So that's one of the considerations. So these here are pyrotechnic type devices. This is something called, and the thing that you want to look at on any kind of device, if they list it, is what is the cubic feet of smoke produced and in what time limit. So this is a Smoke Riter by sportsmoke.com. As it says, it is dense tracking smoke for model aircraft and RC hobby. Not sure that's focused. I guess it is. And the way these are used is you clamp it right here in the middle, and then if you feel in the paper, the two output areas are going to be right here and right here. Okay, and the paper is going to burn. And so there's a long fuse they come with. I put an electronic fuse on here because I actually fire them in the air, but you could light this thing manually on the ground, and by the time you get the altitude, it comes with a fuse about this long, you'll get the altitude fine if you're just ready to take off. But anyway, you clamp it here. You need to make sure that the exhaust is pointed up and away from wherever you're mounting, because it's going to produce this oily residue that's going to stick to everything, and it'll make your model nice and dark if you don't want that. I don't care. You're going to see my Apprentice is pretty dark from having tested all these different smokes. Okay, so that's the Smoke Riter. Over here is one that I've been trying out. Now, the Smoke Riter, from a weight standpoint, let's see what that thing weighs in at. Smoke Riter is going to weigh in at 5.7 ounces. You probably can't see that. Okay, and then we've got this thing, which is a smoke grenade. Okay, it comes like this. It comes already mounted with an electronic fuse. So this is, you're not going to be able to fire manually. And what I do is, you can see there's a big empty piece of cardboard here. What I do is I cut this off with a Dremel. There's the actual charge. This is probably meant to give a little bit of protection for what's ever coming out of here. And what I do is I cut this thing off, get rid of this extra weight, which is about an ounce. And what I do is I make a cone of aluminum foil out the back to try and get the smoke residue up off the tail of the airplane. I think what I'm going to have to do is probably make some kind of U-shape, or somehow get the smoke going someplace else. Maybe even mount this thing down between the floats, whatever. But trying to get the, pointed downward, trying to get the smoke to come out without hitting any kind of surface. So anyway, that's the smoke grenade. And this thing weighs, if you don't cut it off, this weighs 12 ounces. So it's heavier than two of these. Now these are advertised as 40,000 cubic feet of smoke in 3 minutes. and this one is marked right on it that it produces 70,000 cubic feet of smoke in approximately 3 minutes. And I think these are more than twice as expensive as the Sky Riter or the Smoke Riter. So I'm getting 80,000 cubic feet out of this for less weight and I believe less cost if I put two of these together, which I do. You can see here's one. And I've actually got this thing wired to be 30,000 cubic feet, 40,000 cubic feet for twice the time limit. In other words, I've got this thing lighting here, burning all the way down, and then when this one burns down and this compartment starts, the last compartment starts, it lights the second compartment, the second unit. And so this whole unit then burns. And so I'm getting essentially twice the smoke out of these. And like I said, two of these, I believe, cost less, weigh less, and put out more smoke than one of the big guys. Okay. And this will, my Apprentice flying a Power 25 on floats with a 14 by, I believe the 14 by 7 prop, the long prop, will get this off the ground, off grass, and floats. So you'll see that. This is one I tried, wasn't very happy with it. This is a, from I believe Ann's gear. This is used for paintball. It's a burst. I was wondering if I could get red, white, and blue smoke. This is blue smoke. But the problem is the burn time is very short. I'm going to actually have two of these that I'm going to demonstrate, and they'll fire together to see what the volume of total smoke I can get out of them is. But I did this last year, and I thought the results were kind of weak. I would be interested if anybody comes across any type of fireworks smoke that works. I know some people, there's a video on YouTube about that. I don't think they ever gave a source. I think you're going to find that the fireworks smoke is not very much volume and not very long. If you just fire one of these things off on the ground, you can see quite a bit of smoke out of it. Okay. And then the other option is, I haven't mounted it yet, I haven't put it together, is this is from Mr. RC Sound. And what this is a atomizing method, atomizing system. And I believe what this is the unit off of like a Halloween smoke machine. Kind of like you'd see at a Halloween party where it's putting out atomized. And I don't know all the details yet, but I will be demonstrating this at some point. Like I said, I'm doing everything on a side-by-side comparison, which is same platform flying in the same kind of conditions at about the same altitude. So you can say, okay, how's it look against the blue sky? But I'll be putting this together and flying this and testing this as well. So that's the background, and I think now I'm going to show you some demos. Okay, so this is a pretty good day to demonstrate the Smoke Riter on an Apprentice. This is got a Power 25 in it, swinging a 14 by 7 prop. And we don't have much wind today, so, and I'm on grass with a float, so this is give you an idea how it'll take off. Hopefully we'll get a shot here. I had this set up for electronic firing, but just to show you how much time you've got, I'll fire it on the ground because you'd have this much time with a fuse. I've got the fuse shortened down to put an electronic switch on it so I can fire it in the air, but you can see how much time you get. So hopefully that's showing up.
Light pack, no data, distance, no data.
Hopefully all this is showing up.
GPS acquired.
Okay.
Throttle cut on.
So we got our throttle cut on. We're good to go here. Got all the controls. And we should be good.
Distance 22 feet.
Well, let's get ourselves off the ground here. First of all, we're going to fire it, so we'll just do that. Hopefully it's going to show up on the video here. There it goes.
So she's up and flying.
82 feet. Airspeed 32 mph.
Yeah, we got some smoke coming out now. So smoke runs 2 to 3 minutes.
Flight pack 11.6 volts.
And I'll slow it down. That's the volume. There isn't much wind today, so it should hang pretty well. Right now I'm just in beginner mode. I'm not real experienced with the Apprentice yet, so
291 feet.
I'm going to get up a little bit before I do anything with it.
Airspeed 29 mph. Experienced mode, distance 377 feet. Flight pack 11.0 volts, distance 501 feet. Beginner mode. Airspeed 36 mph. Distance 341 feet.
I got back for a little pass here with the smoke running.
Distance 137 feet. Flight pack 10.9 volts. 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 Airspeed 29. 10.9 volts. Distance 62 feet. Smoke on. Flight pack 10.7 volts. Distance 144 feet. Airspeed 26 mph. Flight pack 10.5 volts. Distance 167 feet. Airspeed 34 mph. Flight pack 10.5 volts. Distance 439 feet. Flight pack 10.9 volts. Flight pack 10.9 volts. Distance 265 feet. Flight pack 10.5 volts. Airspeed 30 mph. Distance 78 feet. Flight pack 10.4 volts. Distance 308 feet.
This thing's got some serious smoke generation now, with 2 of the units on it. It's flying pretty heavy though.
Flight